Divine and royal greetings, family. Welcome back to another episode of Build Through Broadcast. I am Shayola Benta, along with Coach Shantae Wilkerson and Coach Latoya Davis. And this week, we will be discussing the state of prostate health. Welcome back once again. We thank you for sharing space with us. If you are joining us live, feel free to put in the comments where you're calling from, your name, any questions, comments. Remember to join in the conversation. If you're seeing this as a replay, definitely tap replay and feel free to like, subscribe, and share. So this is our final episode, if you will, of Men's Health Awareness Month. And it's been fun thus far. And we've decided to end with prostate health because really, it really is kind of everything as it relates to, it's a tell-all for a man's overall health. Similar to the bowel, it tells a story. So I'm going to share a screen. Oh, I think I got it. Don't mind all that stuff at the bottom. It's just me trying to do a thing. Can y'all see that? Because for me, it looks like gibberish. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're just going to pull. We're not going to read the whole thing, but just to give some perspective into prostate health, let's start off with, for those that may not know, some of our younger men may be listening who, they don't have to go in for prostate checks and all exams and all the things. But what we do know from this reading is that prostate issues can start off very, very young, and it may be looked over because, moms and dads may not necessarily identify it to later cause prostate issues. So the prostate is partly muscle and gland. It is about the size of a walnut with a donut shape. It is directly underneath the bladder and surrounds the tube, the urethra, that allows urine to flow out of the bladder and pass out through the penis. The prostate secretes a thin, cloudy alkaline fluid that helps make up seminal fluid. The muscular contractions of the prostate squeeze the prostate fluid and help mix it with semen and sperm. The muscles help to ejaculate. There are many types of prostate diseases, and many factors can cause prostate problems. Drugs, illegal and legal, harm it. So I'm going to leave it up on the screen for a moment so that if anyone wants to take a screenshot so that they can look it over later, you're more than welcome to do so. We are, of course, pulling from our trusted African Holistic Health by Dr. Laela Africa. So it is important to know where this organ, if you will, is located, right? There are many, many factors as it relates to again, the prostate. So the question that is asked is the current state of the prostate reflective of the current state of the family? So I'll pause, and if either one of you would like to chime in with, what are your thoughts? Do you think that the current state of the prostate is the current or reflective of the current state of the family, the modern family?
Okay, I guess I'll start. I think this is a very good question because I never even thought about it like that as far as thinking about the prostate and of the family. But then, as you mentioned earlier about how Queen of Food talks about the womb and the state of the earth. So
Mhm.
I would say that yes, I believe there is a correlation between the two, absolutely. And I have also noticed how many, I feel like, I guess now that we're in the time of social media and people just be telling all the business and stuff like that, I'm finding that more people are being more vocal about issues with the prostate, whether it's women talking about it in regards to their family members or lovers or whatever, or in regards to men talking about it too, or those that have
Mm.
healed from that. So I do believe that there is um, definitely a correlation, especially although, the women, we are the carrier of the womb. I mean, we're the carrier of the womb and also of the children, and we give life in that way. Of course, the men also play a role into it, and we have to. I feel like we should focus more on that. It makes me think about how we need to focus way more on that and what that looks like, because I haven't even thought about it in that way. It's a very
Mm.
good question. Thank you for asking that.
You're
It's a
welcome. Well, thank you for that. And I'm happy that you find that it is a great question. I'm going to put it back on the screen because I do, after Coach Shantae gives her insights, I want to start at this last paragraph and kind of lead into the next page. Coach Shantae, what do you have for us? What are your thoughts? Do you think that it's reflective?
So my intimate experience with the divine masculine is somewhat limited. So I will put that out there as I begin. But what I will say is, when interacting with men in different settings, for those that I have had the opportunity to have that type of intimate conversation with, it does seem that prostate health and sexual health and psychological and spiritual health flow hand in hand.
Mm.
And in as much as the man is meant to be the head of the household, if his head is not on straight and his prostate and his male sexual organs and all of that are in a state of trauma and chaos, that definitely spills over into how they guide their family unit. So I definitely believe that it is reflective of the state of the family. I find that there are a lot of men who have devitalized lives and devitalized
Mhm.
families tend to have devitalized diets and a devitalized masculinity, in that they do suffer from various issues of the prostate and have all types and kinds of problems.
Mhm.
Um, just like women hold trauma within our bodies, within our womb spaces, men also hold traumas within their bodies. And these traumas can range from anything from childhood issues of being nurtured and loved properly by their mothers to um, rape and molestation to being rejected by the first girl that they ever had a crush on, or getting laughed at the first time that they had sex. Like, there's all kinds of different traumas that can
Mm.
be present in the divine masculine. And when those traumas go unaddressed, that trauma stays in the body, it stays in the psyche, it stays in the spirit, and it informs every aspect of what that man does and does not do. Um, and it can be difficult to pinpoint these things because there's also this stigma that if you're a man, you're meant to be strong. You don't share your weaknesses. You don't share the things that hurt you.
Mhm.
And all that does is lead to more trauma. Just like, when you have a sore or a wound, you're supposed to dress it. You're supposed to debride it. You're supposed to keep the ointments and things on it. But you don't just cover it up. Small scrapes and cuts, you clean those and you cover those with a band-aid, but those wounds, those sores, those things that are traumatic to the body, you leave those open for a period of time and you cover them for a period of time. Like, there's a proper care and maintenance of those things that must be followed. And I feel like it's the same way when it comes to men and the traumas that they've experienced in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Give thanks. That was a great share. Um, so hopefully everyone can see what is before them. So two of the main diseases is the prostatic hypertrophy and the prostatitis. Prostatitis. Hope I said that right. Which are, again, diseases. But I wanted to bring your attention to the bottom paragraph where it says these early warnings of prostate problems, whether it is indirectly affect the prostate, such as sugar disease, high blood pressure, rheumatism, arthritis, varicose veins, hyperglycemia, which damages the prostate nerves. There are early warnings of prostate problems, premature baldness, and or ejaculation can indicate weakness and or deterioration of the prostate. Young boys dribble urine, okay, which leaves stains in their I did that right. Underwear. This may be indicating the beginning of prostate problems. Men that need to shake their penis several times because their urine dribbles after urination stops may have had the onset of problems. Usually, early warnings are ignored until the male reaches middle age and has an enlarged prostate, cancer of the prostate, or infertility. And I think that that's pretty, important to recognize again that these problems, if you will, can start early on, but if they go unnoticed, then they are real problems, as the man gets older. Anything to add here from that tidbit? Coach Shante, you have a boy. Look, you have a man child. Um, do any of these things ring out to you as it relates to these are the things that I'm looking for or have looked for?
You know, Actually, I haven't. And in reading this, it's very interesting to me because a lot of I think prostate issues that can be prevented if we pay attention to things like this could be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a thought as far as like where this is concerned, because we all know where the prostate is. It is not an external gland, it is internal, it is
Mm-hmm.
inside of the rectum, anus. It's a gland about the shape of size of a walnut, donuts shaped, and all of that kind of stuff around the urethra. So we know what it is, we know where it is. But for the most part, it's not something that's like checked regularly. It's not like, oh man, did you check your prostate? Like, there's not really a community around that aspect of men's health, but that one piece can cause so many issues. And I will definitely start talking to my son and asking him about if he notices any dribbling or if he has those types of issues, because it's not something I've noticed as far as like urine in the underwear and stuff like that. Like when I do laundry, that's not an issue. So that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that for men's health and for their um, ability to remain healthy and to remain at the forefront in their families, there definitely needs to be more conversation about keeping the prostate healthy, checking the prostate, making sure that it's functioning properly, all that kind of stuff, because it's really, really important. And when that thing is not working properly, when it gets enlarged and starts causing problems, that's not the place where you want to start saying, I need to check out my prostate. Like, that's the point where you want to already have a practice in place and say, okay, I noticed this, and this was going on. Let me talk to my doctor. Or I noticed this, and this was going on. Let me go talk to my pro steamer, which that's what Shayola does. She helps men steam their prostate so they don't have to stick a finger in there to check it. Joe, I'll throw that back over to you.
Listen, because I hear men, they don't like that finger. I need to get this copyright all the way live. I did the beginning stages of it. But yes, when I went through training for Yoni Steam practitioner certification, there was a section in there that talked about steaming for men. And I was just like, you know what? I would do that. And I think I shared this last time, done it with a couple of men. And I'm always asking them, like, afterwards, how do you feel? How do you feel? And normally the general consensus is, before they get over the, what's going to happen? The steam going to go where? I got to do what with it? Just relax and sit and enjoy the experience. But it's like I feel bubbling in my stomach. Now I feel like I have to use the bathroom. So it's almost like the steam opens up the rectum to say, hey, you have some, maybe some excess weight in the colon. Let's just go ahead and, clean that out. So, there are some changes here in my life. And I was saying last time, I want to give one free, but no buts. I will still do that, but I have to figure out how and why, because it just was laid on me today, y'all, that I have to give up my office.
Oh,
It's no longer mine. So we'll see how all of that works. But pro steaming, definitely, for the brothers who may feel like I don't want to get the finger just yet, or it's not even time for you to do that. That steaming your rectum is definitely maintenance, for sure, for sure. Coach Latoya, before I move on to this next little blurb, in which I really think is important for us to go over, do you have anything to add?
Oh, yes, I wanted to state that I'm glad that Coach Shantae brought up the fact that it's not just about the physical aspect, it's the mental and spiritual when it came to the prostate or whatnot, because you can eat, you can be on your journey of eating better, but there's still things going on. If you don't have that emotional, if you are not dealing with your emotions, or you're not grounded in your spirituality, those things definitely will still impact you. And of course, the access things from the past that you just brought up, Coach Shayola, as far as still having waste that needs to be let go of, that also can impact. So I've seen that too, where people may have switched to plant-based, but still having issues when it comes to with their prostate. So I've seen that too.
Yeah. And just knowing that, the prostate is under the bladder, the bladder is right there with the colon. So if you're urinating often, that could be an indication that the colon is impacted, forcing you really to go more than you probably should. But infertility is rising, as 25% of married couples cannot have children. The sperm count was 120 million per milliliter in 1938 and dropped to 20 million per milliliter in 1991. This has been steadily decreasing each year. Imbalanced sex hormone levels, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, can result in decreased sperm count. Excess estrogen in non-organic foods lower the progesterone and the testosterone levels, which lowers the sperm count and deteriorates the prostate. Now, the reason why I felt like this is super important is because it is reflective of what has been happening and is happening with all of the foods, the processed foods that are now being sold, especially, no matter if it's regular food, vegan food, plant-based food, all of that processed food has an extra level of estrogen. And that, of course, as just read, the estrogen is definitely damaging to the physical aspect as well as the emotional and the spiritual, because now we have a whole generation of young people who are greatly impacted as it relates to their sexuality, not realizing that's, y'all, 1 million milliliters of a decrease between 1938 and 1991. That's like, that's insane. So if we keep on this track of eating the unhealthy foods, or not really engaging in whole foods, not engaging in colon cleanses, enemas, pro-steams, the infertility rate is going to increase even greater, because it's just like, I heard someone say, well, I'm gonna die anyway, so I'm gonna enjoy what I want to eat. And I think, in my opinion, that is a selfish way to carry on. But again, my opinion. So anything sticks out to you all as you take in this information again, as it relates to how a deteriorated prostate is, one, being promoted, and two, how it's affecting the communities and society at large.
Mm. That 120 million to 20 million drop in sperm count is still like really loud, because that's only a 53-year span. That's what, like one generation, and that decline has been so drastic. Like, that's just mind-boggling to me. But we know that what we eat has a huge impact on our overall health as men and as women. And last week we talked about you are what you eat, and we got into that whole conversation. And when you take that a step further and you look at prostate health, what are we taking in? Are we taking in foods that are high in estrogens, whether it is the plastics or certain preservatives that are converted to estrogen in the body, or whatever the delivery mechanism is? Are we really that concerned about, future generations and creating them? Or is there, I'm just going to do whatever I want, that selfish mindset that says, oh, well, it'll be okay, that's not something that I have to be worried about? Like, I just, the psychology of it is really something that I would love to get some more information on, because we really do see that a lot, as far as like people with that selfish mentality of like, I'm not interested in changing. I'm not interested in doing anything different. This is what I know. This is what I like. I'm going to die this way. And that's it. And there's no thought or concern to the burden that could possibly put onto their family, other people who love them, their friends. Like, it really is a little bit insane.
Just a little bit. Coach Latoya, thank you so much for that share. And again, if you're seeing this live or watching it as a replay, definitely drop your comments below, because we would love to hear from you as well. What say you, Coach Latoya?
I would say that, these rates are definitely alarming for that time period, and I know it has decreased even more. And I do feel like, while there is a small population of men that are really talking about health in this way, maybe I shouldn't say that, but it does feel that way when you look at the ratio of women to men, honestly. But despite that, there is an increase of people in general starting to get more back into the holistic ways of being and doing things and growing their own food. So although this is alarming, I do feel like there's a shift that's going on. And I feel like what has happened in the last few years has definitely pushed people to look at things differently. And while some people may have, gotten back into the groove of what life was kind of before because of how things are currently, being back outside. However, we do need to be more mindful of this. And I do feel like it's just men they have to want it for themselves too. I do feel like they have to, and there are men out there doing that, but I just feel like they have to want to do it for themselves. And I do feel like a lot of women are leading the way and that men are on board, but I do feel like they have to take more control of their health, and they have to, that's just what it is. It's like, because I know many people have encouraged their family members, whether it's men or women, to take better care of themselves, and they're going to be stuck in what it is. So so with that being said, I do feel like that's why it's important to cultivate community and connect with people who are on that path. So if you are a man and you do feel like you are on a lone star or whatever, that's a perfect divine opportunity to create spaces for yourself and for other men, and you can start out small and then grow bigger. But I do know that there are people out there doing that, but we need more. We need more of y'all because, because it does this, your state of prostate health does impact the family life. And I do find that men that nurture themselves and take care of themselves, it transforms into their family. It does.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, we'll close off with this. So it says the prostate is harmed by white sugar, alcohol, vinegar, salt, processed foods, the toxic synthetic chemicals, and commercial deodorants. So, sidebar: if your deodorant has things like, let's say, aluminum in them, then it's a no-go. You definitely do not want to cook your foods with aluminum. Covering may be a little different, but not cooking your foods with aluminum, and definitely not constantly putting it under your arm, because that's near the heart. So we want to be mindful of that. Colognes, cough suppressants, and allergy remedies, which, that season has been and is still upon us, where, people suffer from allergies. So they're getting cough suppressants, right? And that's all it's going to do. The allergy, those things suppress what you're feeling. It's not helping to it may relieve you, but it's not helping to relieve what is happening to you. So we want to be mindful of that. But here are signs and symptoms of prostate problems: pain between the rectum and the scrotum, decreased force of urination, difficulty starting and stopping urination, burning feeling when urinating, blood in the urine, if it's pink or reddish, pus in the urine, decreased amounts of semen, less than the normal 1/2 teaspoon, decreased force of ejaculation, lower back pain, a series of kidney infections and urinary tract infection, semen dripping from penis instead of being ejaculated, thin, clear semen instead of opaque, premature ejaculation, inability to maintain or get an erection or ejaculate. So that whole blue pill situation doesn't have to be if you're taking care of your prostate, because men can have children well into their 90s if they so choose, and probably beyond that. Smell of semen changes. Semen usually has a slightly sweet odor or salty odor. Semen usually has a slightly sweet odor, period. A salty odor indicates kidney secreting or venereal disease or diseased bodily condition. Bittersweet odor indicates spleen and or pancreas disease. A hard, rubbery mass is felt between the anus and the scrotum sac with the testicles. It can be painful to the touch. Too much sexual intercourse can cause prostate problems, or sex while having an active urinary tract infection further weakens the prostate. It is definitely not advised to have constant sex. I mean, it's just really draining your life force, and it affects your ability to think and see properly. Constant kidney and or bladder infection caused by urine backing up when the enlarged prostate blocks flow. And finally, difficulty starting and stopping urination. So we are at the top of the 30 minutes, but I know that was a lot. Do any of you have anything that you would like to add to that list? Anything stands out to you? Anything you want the brothers to know?
The only thing I want to add is a lot of these things can be reversed and eliminated as far as health issues. There are a myriad of natural ways that you can get your life and your body on track. And one way that we always recommend is through a good, solid detox. And we actually, as the Emerald Green Collective, have a fall detox that is coming up this September. It is September the 3rd through the 23rd, I believe. We will be doing a lifestyle detox. So we're not offering any products for sale. This is simply an opportunity for you to slow down, get intentional, and really think about what it is that's going on in your body, what's going on with your health, what's going on in your life, and really take charge of getting yourself back into right standing within and with the divine. We'll have weekly webinars. We'll have a 30-minute coaching session, 10-minute pendulum readings. And there's a lot more things that we're going to put in there, including our Veg Camp Detox Guide that was written by Coach Shay Ola. And we are just really excited to help the men and the women to get cleaned up and cleaned out so that we can have more divine connections, more healthy men and healthy women, so that we can have more healthy unions, more healthy families, more healthy households. Because as we heal on an individual level, we heal the world at large. So if you are ready to get cleaned up and cleaned out, to heal some things up, to really change the way that you are functioning on a day-to-day basis, definitely join us for our 21-day fall detox coming up. We would love to have you.
We would. So to veggie back on that, if you would like to register for our detox, feel free to visit the emeraldgreencollective.com. That is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You have time. You have time not only to register, you have time to share this with your family and friends. It is for everyone, as Coach Shantae said, who would like to clean up and clean out. Coach Latoya, any closing words?
Oh, that's all. Y'all said it all. So that I don't have anything else.
Peace, y'all.